When I was about the age that my son is now, a toddler, pretty much still a baby, a popular TV show came on called Knight Rider. Now, I was too young at that point to really see the show, understand anything about it. But as the years went on, about 4 years, I became much more conscious and aware. I don't really recall watching the show, but I remember it being a big thing, and I really remember that cool black Trans Am that he drove. And I used to tell my parents, my uncle, my grandparents, someday I'm gonna get a black Trans Am. And I remember my mom, she bought me one of the little toy Knight Rider cars, and she even bought me a Knight Rider big wheel that I used to pedal around in. And like I said, I was too young really to watch the show, even by the end of it. But some of my earliest childhood memories is talking about, I'm going to get a black Trans Am someday. And I had those kind of Knight Rider toys. And then about 11 or 12 years later, I did get a black Trans Am. And in fact, in some ways, I think it's nicer looking than the Knight Rider car. But I still have that car to this day, and I still love that car, keep it garage kept, wash it all the time. And the looks that I get when I'm out driving around because people aren't used to seeing that car anymore, it's kind of funny because a lot of people, they ask me, is that some sort of European car? Is that from Italy or something? Especially younger people that have never seen one, but even older people that don't really remember them, because if you have one in good shape these days, it's really unusual. And back in the 80s, a lot of cars, especially the Trans Ams and stuff like Knight Rider, it was a futuristic type show. They were meant to look futuristic, but even today it looks futuristic, especially compared to all the cars we see now that are kind of cough drop shaped. You know, they kind of have that blob shape. But anyways, a couple weeks ago, well actually about a year ago, I was living overseas with my wife and my son and newborn baby, and they started showing the TV show Knight Rider in this other country. And throughout the years, I never really saw the show because it seems like after they took Knight Rider off the air, they never really played it much in syndication until maybe the late 90s when I think it came on Sci-Fi Channel. But this was the first time I really started watching the show. The show's kind of silly and cartoonish, but they have that beautiful car, and it's a very fun, entertaining show. Well, a couple weeks ago, I don't know, I kind of got it into my head that I want a toy Knight Rider car. I don't even really know why. I just started thinking, so I started going online and looking at toy Knight Rider cars, and they actually have some die-cast metal toy Knight Rider cars of kit. But they were in, like, especially if you factor in shipping, about the $20 to $30 range. And I was kind of thinking, well, I don't know if as a family man, it's very responsible to drop over $20 just on a toy car for myself. So I kind of figured, well, I don't think I should buy one of these right now, but I would imagine myself, oh, it'd be so cool to have one of these, and I'd imagine playing with it, kind of like putting it on or putting it on the shelf as a display piece, kind of a piece of artwork or a conversation piece, and just how it would feel just to take my hands and push the car around. I would imagine that and kind of smile to myself. And then the next week, a lot of things came up in my life, and I had to put that on the back burner. I didn't really think about it too much for the next week, but I went to Walmart to do some last-minute Christmas shopping, and sometimes I go and I look at the toy cars and I look at the action figures just for fun. I've never seen a Knight Rider car there before, but I knew that they had some Batmobiles, like some cool die casts of the old TV show Batmobile, and I've kind of been interested in that. But anyways, I walk through the cars, and all of a sudden, just sitting there, there's only one, but it's just sitting there, almost like God put it there himself for me to find. And I found myself a Knight Rider die-cast, and I checked the price on it. This thing was less than $7. Online, they're going for about triple the price. And I was just so happy and so excited to find it. I went home and I told my family that I got, yeah, I know this is kind of a silly thing to geek out over, but I was just so happy and was just amazed at this experience. Like I said, it's almost like God put it there himself on the shelf. There was only one, and when I walked by, it was right there. So I was just so happy to find this. And then I was just in church, and it's kind of funny because the minister shared a very similar story. He's been wanting a Santa suit, but a high quality Santa suit. Otherwise, hey, the kids will know he's a fake. But he was with the other minister from the church, and they were walking down the street, and they passed by a thrift shop. And in the window, there was a display with a Santa suit, and he got all excited because he'd been looking for these Santa suits, but they start at about $40. They go to about $100. This is for a high quality one, but that's more than he wanted to pay. He finds one in the window of this thrift store. They go in, and the suit looks great, and the price tag says $25. And he says to the other minister, "Wow, $25? That's a great deal for this suit." And the woman working in there, she hears him, and she says, "Oh no, that's not $25. All our Christmas stuff right now is 50% off. That's $12. Blew his mind. He got the suit. And then they started to take it off the mannequin, and it turned out it was a female mannequin. So if you hear any stories about those ministers being pervs, now you know the story. But what's the point in all this? The point is, when you're going around and you're feeling good, and you feel like you already have what you want, even though you don't physically have it, a lot of good things can happen, a lot of magic can happen. But you have to feel good. Just go around feeling good, having fun, but not always be focused on the results or the how. How am I going to get this? But that's how the real magic's going to happen. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed these little bit of feel-good stories here. There's a lot more on this channel for you to enjoy. Until next time.